On day 3, we left Teddy Roosevelt at 4 a.m. and made the foggy trek south to Custer State Park in South Dakota. The 260-mile trip only took a little over 4 hours, and the fog lifted just as we entered the Black Hills. As I was purchasing a pass and getting a map, Lucas had already jumped out and found a black-headed grosbeak. He was hanging out right at the entrance sign, probably to greet visitors. I heard one of these in Teddy Roosevelt last year, but I've never got a picture of one before. We have now seen the pine, evening, rose-breasted, blue, and black-headed grosbeak this year. More about the blue grosbeak later in this video. This guy looks innocent enough, but he spends the winter in central Mexico, as do monarch butterflies. Black-headed grosbeaks are one of the butterfly's only predators. Toxins in the monarch make them poisonous to birds, but the grosbeaks can feed on them in 8-day cycles, which gives their body enough time to clear the toxins. Next, we moved on to an old airport on the Wildlife Loop Drive to look for the mountain bluebirds that had enticed us to drive to Custer. Some come from Mount Rushmore. We come for mountain bluebirds. Sure enough, there was a pair using one of the nest boxes on the fence line. A park ranger told us that some mountain bluebirds had already fledged. The male mountain bluebirds frequently feed their mate when she is brooding, and she joins the fledglings in begging calls and waiting with open beak. Mountain bluebirds prefer open country. They hover in the air like American kestrels when hunting insects on the wing. As you can see from the video, they are remarkable at head stabilization when flapping, which helps them not blur the vision of insects they're trying to grab. They have such good vision they can spot a caterpillar in the grass from 50 yards away. Unfortunately, we couldn't get much sunlight on our subjects for photos, but they were still fun to watch. After checking out some of the park's more than 1,200 bison, we were creeped out to find a white burro standing right outside our van window. As we made our way north on the Wildlife Loop, we found a Lewis's woodpecker in an area of ponderosa pines that had some fire scars. This woodpecker is named after Meriwether Lewis, who first saw it in 1805, and it's unlike any other woodpeckers. It has a pink belly and dark green back. It sallies out and catches flies like a flycatcher, and it flies like a crow. It also wanted to stay at least 100 yards away from us, so we couldn't get any better shots, so we decided to photograph the red-headed woodpecker instead. Exploring the Heady Draw overlook, we found the red-naped sapsucker. You know these guys are around when you see neat rows of holes and stands of aspen trees. They look pretty similar to the red-breasted sapsucker that I've seen in Oregon and the yellow-bellied sapsucker that we have in Minnesota. Apparently broad-tailed hummingbirds follow the sapsuckers around, stealing a quick drink of sap that they have exposed or eating bugs trapped in the sap. One had been sighted, but we didn't find it. We did see one more female mountain bluebird as we took the long way around to Mount Rushmore. Wait, I thought we left Teddy Roosevelt this morning, but there he is. Arriving at Sylvan Lake, we spotted an osprey circling overhead. As we scrambled to set up the tripod, he dove and caught a nice trout right in front of us. Unfortunately, we weren't ready and missed the chance to video. We guessed he would be back in an hour, so we set out to do some exploring. Lucas used the time to get some cool drone footage. Suddenly, the osprey was back. They have two methods of catching fish. The dry method is what we saw earlier. This is when they fly parallel to the water and pluck a surface-feeding fish. This guy sat in a tree for a while and then deployed the way more impressive wet method. He hovered at about 100 feet and then plunged head and tail in first, going at least 3 feet underwater and surfacing with a fish. I've only seen this on the internet. We were literally standing 30 feet away on a rock, but we couldn't get the camera to focus when we suddenly realized he was diving. It was very cool to witness, but it would have been an epic video. Distraught, we resolved to wait another hour in hopes he would fish again. In the meantime, we found violet green swallows catching flies in the lake. It's easiest to see their violet and green colors in the sunlight, but they actually became more active over the lake when it started sprinkling. They are tough to follow with the camera and even more difficult to video. They finally, momentarily landed in a dead tree. An immature red-naped sapsucker was also busy in a different dead tree, and I almost sat on this snake while I was watching it. Like clockwork, 1 hour later, the osprey was back and scooping a fish. Unfortunately, it was once again the dry method. Here is some slow-mo footage of his escape. The shot I one day hope to get is slow-motion video of an osprey coming out from underwater with those giant wings trying to lift a fish, just like we had witnessed in Sylvan Lake on that day. We finished the day by driving the Needles Highway back to our campsite before yet another downpour put us in our tent for the rest of the night. Day 4, we got up early and headed to the Lover's Leap Trail. It was nice to see the sun again. Our main objective for our final day was to see a western tanager. It was a good climb, but when I've seen them before, it seems like they have always been on the hillside open pine forests, so this trail looked perfect. Before long, we heard one calling. On the hike, we also saw about a half dozen more red-headed woodpeckers, which have kind of been the star of this whole trip. In the summer, western tanagers exclusively eat insects. Apparently, 100 years ago, they used to be hunted and poisoned by cherry farmers trying to protect their crops. After getting several shots of a couple of western tanagers, we headed down the hill to make one more check for the mountain bluebirds on the wildlife drive. While we didn't find any bluebirds today, we did see this pronghorn and this impressive white-tailed buck. Some people in a van from the resort told us this guy's name is Mel, and he will come if you call his name. But when we tried yelling Mel, he said he didn't know anyone by that name. We also didn't get the name of these bighorn sheep that were eating along the side of the road. We packed up our tent and left the park via the Iron Mountain Road, which has some great views of Mount Rushmore as it heads towards Keystone. Heading east, we swung through the Badlands because you can't just drive right by it. Unfortunately, there are no upland sandpipers today. There were also fewer burrowing owls than last year, but we did find a couple. We decided to sneak in one more bird, as we knew that blue grosbeaks are frequently seen in this park. We quickly found a male at the Ancient Hunter's Overlook. These guys breed along the road and they love shrubs. Fortunately, the males are one of the only birds that are still singing in the daytime, even in July, because they stay hidden and they are actually pretty dark, but not in the sunlight. It was kind of a workout for Lucas to get these photos. Another obligatory stop is Wall Drug. Lucas, how was the free ice water?
It's good.
Thanks to the 20 new birds in this trip, we now stand at 308 for 2025. Will we add any more? Even without the western birds, the landscape and the wildlife of both these parks make them well worth the drive.